Hey, Fitzy here. Got another one for you now. Got a floor pan here I'm putting in an early 70s Nova. Stick around, I'll show you how I did it. Here we have floor pan, as you can see. It's gone to front here, coming back through her. She's got a couple of small holes in her back here. Bit of damage and whatnot, right? It's pretty good though. Amazing enough that this panel up here is still in good shape. Usually they're all gone up there. But we're going to replace this floor pan. Replace the whole section up along here. We haven't got a full pan for it. We got a half side. I'm going to show you that here now. Here's the panel we got to replace it with. It's a really good quality panel. I'm quite pleased with it because a lot of these over the years have changed. These were never cut out. You used to have to cut these out yourselves. And sometimes the panel up here used to come up this way here, so you got this section here as well. And all that was one piece. I never liked that because they're joined. That's the factory spot weld. And along here as well. A lot of them just end. So the improvement in aftermarket panels have greatly improved. But still, they're not what you call like perfect OEM fit. So there's going to be some issues with it. I'm going to join the spot welds back to where they were on the sides and along here. And up here, we're going to butt weld it along this edge here and along the back here. We have a couple of cross members in the car that we got to deal with. One was right here and one was right here. We're going to remove all the panels from them on top, right here and here. And leave them in the car. This one here, the panel only comes from here over to here underneath. I'm not going to get down underneath it because the lighting is horrible to show you. So I'm going to, first thing we're going to do here now is I got it marked there now. I'm going to start cutting these sections out here like so, and to just take the rough portion of it. Oh, gone too far, because I noticed there's a cross member there. And I'm just going to cut sections out like this just to get it out of my way. Same with up here. I'll cut along here, across here, down here, that type of thing. Do the same thing back here. Cut this off along here, down along here, just to get it out of my way. Make some room so I can actually see what I'm at there. So, okay, let's start cutting. I went ahead and found out where all my cross members to, and I marked it all out so I don't cut into the cross members. And now all I'm going to do is just remove 3 sections out of it just to give me access to see where I'm to underneath. I'll cut centers out of these 2 cross members now so I can make it easier to see what I'm at. got the pans all cut out, as you can see. Now I'm back to solid metal. I got to cut along here on top of the cross members. I got to remove these sections here now out of it, take a chisel of them and work along till I find some spot welds. And it's heavier steel underneath, so it should break clear from the top, and then I'll just clean it up with a grinder. I had to watch it over here. I didn't know this bracket come this way, and I ended up grinding into it. That's fine. I'll weld that up. You could probably cut this out with a plasma cutter, and be a lot easier on some. But we all don't have plasma cutters. I've been cutting with grinding wheels now for a long time, and I get the cutting discs cheap, so I just keep going that route. So maybe someday I'll get myself a plasma cutter, but for now it works. You make do with what you got. Now I'm going to remove all them there out of the way now, clean up that, and down along this lip here I got to remove this section here. The most time you're going to spend is cleaning up, getting everything ready for the new panel. I never bother to go up here too far yet because it's got some factory stuff here. I don't want to go getting into the seatbelt one here. I'm probably going to cut it up. I don't like having it on the bottom side of the car, so when you look underneath you can see it. I'll try to get it up in the transmission tunnel a small bit along there. I'll cut a bit more of it off. I'll do that when I get the panel fitted. But I'm just going to clean it up here now. Like opening up a can of sardines. I got everything removed. I still got to clean up my spot welds. As you can see down here, I just tried it with the ear chisel and it took it. This is stronger than the other metal, so the ear chisel took most of it out. I've decided I'm just going to come up to here somewhere. The actual brace for the rear spring hanger is right underneath this here. I cut it right to the edge of it. I got that figured out. I'm probably just going to come up here into the rolled edge along here, keep underneath this seat belt. Just going along here, remove this here, and doing along the same thing up here. Up here now, I don't know what I'm going to have to get into. I still haven't really cleaned none of this up. I'm going to have to clean all this up. I may have to make this front section here yet, I don't know. It has a bit of surface rust. Looks good underneath. It feels solid, but we won't know until I hit the grinder to it. One issue that I've run into is right here. These cross members are mounted to the rocker. I'm not letting it go. But the way it works is the floor skin was mounted between the cross member and the rocker. So all I went and did is I got it trimmed out. I don't know if you can see it there. Hard to see. I just got it trimmed off along here and down here. And I'm going to notch it in along here. I'll show you what I mean over here on the panel. I'm going to notch the panel right here with the cross members too. I'm just going to notch it up and come across here and come down. And then I'm going to weld it in along here to the rocker, and then along here, and then continue on with spot welds. Do that. It's a bit tricky. Most of the, like if you had a full aftermarket floor pan, these braces will be already on it after putting them in. But these, what I call them patch panels, which are just like simple little rust repair panels, they usually have their issues, and this is one of the issues with them. GM always managed to lap things in between that, so I can't do nothing about that. I'm not taking them braces out because that involves all the front suspension and everything getting in that, so we're not getting into that. So now I'm going to go back. I'm going to start cleaning up all my spot welds. Oh yes, I did this too, look. I cut off the seat mounting by accident. Got to weld that back in there. But that's only minor. Put that in before I put the floor pan in. So I'm just going to go out now, clean it all up and get it prepped up so I can fit the new pan in. Do a test fit on it, size it all up. got everything cleaned up. I gotta fix this here. And up here, I cleaned it all up and I found this little hole here. There was two little small pinholes, so I cut out a section of it. But other than that, all the rest of it was in really good shape. So I just cleaned it up a bit all the way around and getting ready now to put the panel in. So I'm going to test fit the panel first. I'm going to have the cut for these two pieces here. And for back here in the back corner, I got a cut for that as well. So I'll get them cut now and we'll do a test fit. Here's my first fit. Went in pretty good. I had to trim it right here. I was telling you about the cross members. You can see I had to trim for the cross member here and here. Right? It went in pretty good. Fit it in there. There we go. But as you can see, it all goes along pretty good. It's fitting pretty good. Now, I don't need to keep all this here. I don't want to get into the seatbelt hole. I don't want to cut it off up here because then I'm interfering with where the seatbelt mounts. And I want to keep that structure original. So I'm going to take it from just above the crease here. And I go right along here and cut straight lines, keep it as low as I can on the tunnel. And back here, I'm going to take it in this crease here and then come around here with this here. I'm trying not to, just trying to find the nicest and easiest way. You can jam it in there like it is there now and just overlap it, but no. I want to up along here, I want to butt weld all this and down here. So when you get up underneath it, we can dress this edge inside here. So there's nothing worse than getting underneath a car and seeing it all overlapped in underneath there. I never ever liked it. Up here is all spot welds, and down along here it'll be all spot welds. The spot welds across here will be all neat and tidy. So it's only going to have a weld going in along here like this, going on that section there. So I'm going to trim up this up, mark it and trim it, and do another test fit. So I got that all trimmed up. As you can see now, it fits pretty good there now, all the way around. I didn't want to be near that. That's all solid there, so I wanted to stay below that. I kept my line straight, so when it goes to cut it with the grinder, it'll actually fit, because it comes straight across here and then it goes forward. It'll go down from there, over to the front, see? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark all this, where it lays, because this is going to, when it comes to, it's going to pull down. I'm going to mark it along here, and I'm going to come down about here on this and cut it all, everything off, clean everything out of the way so that I can be ready to go. And then I'm going to start fitting this and tightening it down. I'm going to use screws to screw this down to the cross member to put it tight, vice grips to pull it tight along the rocker, and up here do the same thing with screws so I can get it fit nice and tight. And I have all that marked. All I use is this little piece of soapstone, marked it all along there. Now what I'll do here now is I'll come down to about here and I'll cut all this off. Okay, got that all trimmed up. I've been showing you, all I've been doing is cutting back the metal to where I want to, and then I'll work it from underneath with a chisel and just remove the panel that way. All I'm doing is using that old wide flat chisel. It's probably best to have a flat, like a regular cold chisel. It's going to be too thick. Hammer. That's all I did, is just knocked all the spot welds off. As you can see here, some are left here, and like over here I just cut everything out of the way. I still have one here, and all I'll do now is I'll take the grinder to that and grind that off, and run another one there. I'll grind that off, clean that up, and then she's ready to go. I got this cut so it's a down plane, so when I lace the panel in, it's going to want to fall right to this panel here and fall right to this panel here. If you left a bit of a loop on it, on the bottom side of it, you're going to be fighting that to drop it down. So it's best to be up on a downward slope all the way along, even on the back side here, so the panel will want to fall all the way down. Almost want to go through it to the whole point there. Here, here, and here is the only places that's going to want to rest. So I'm going to grind them up now and we'll test fit it. I'm going to show you what I mean. This is where I marked it to when I laid the panel in before with all the pieces on it. Now I got to fit back in there again. I got to put where it's to. It drops down. You can see now that the floor pan is actually lowered all the way down, all the way around. The floor pan now is lower than what it was before because there's nothing holding it up now. It wants to fall right down through, like back here on the back side, see? Next thing I got to do now is I got to mount this here to the cross members and back here and mount it down, and also I got to clamp it to the rocker panel here and pull it over tight here before I do any more cutting or fitting on it. So what I'm going to do now is get underneath and scribe 2 lines underneath, and I'm going to drill a couple of pilot holes where I can come up here and go down with a 1/8 bit and drill it, and then we'll go from there. I said I'm going to scribe it. You can see it here in the light, it's in the wrong angle. You can see the little scribe lines that I got put on this here. This is where the cross members underneath. I got underneath it and I ran the scribe right along the edge of the cross members. There's one here, there's one cross member here, and up here on the back, you can see here, I scribed this is where that plate is to. Then I went ahead and I drilled a couple of 1/8 holes, here and here, and then here and here, same one over on this one. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to test fit this in place again and clamp it to the rockers here, so it pulls it tight to the side, and then I'm going to start drilling these holes with the 1/8 bit and mounting them to the cross member so they're pulled tight on the cross member in these locations here, and I'll inspect it. Okay, have it all screwed down. Use little 1/4 inch screws. These here. Just something to tighten it all down onto the cross members. They're screwed onto the cross members there. I went and used the cleat goes over here because there was no gap there, so it held in place, but they won't pull down on it like it would, right? Put a couple of screws up there, and a couple of screws back here, and there's 2 there and 2 there. Now you can actually see how much this is after pulling down. All the way around, look. So now this is all sitting good on the panel underneath. As you can see how nice the panel fits there and over here, how nice the panel fits. And we look at this over here, same thing again. Now we got to trim it all up to get it to fit on these edges. Now, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to scribe right along this edge here, all the way around, and I'm going to pull the panel out. I went ahead, because you won't be able to haul this piece out. I had the scribe line here and I cut it right along the scribe line, and I cut the piece out of the way of the cross member, there and there, up here in the corner. You can barely see it there with no light. Right here where the panel ends, and then I cut it off. That way, because the scribe line I put in is put along there. So that way I haven't got to worry about removing that piece, and it should lay flat there, and I can remove this piece after when I cuts it. Back here to I just cut away the corner here. That's all I did. And of course then I repaired that there, seat belting. With this here I put all the spot welds in, drilled them all out. I left these holes alone, they're my alignment holes, and how I'll mount it down. Got all them left here, I'll weld them up after the fact. I went and drilled the 2 holes for the seat. And back here I put the holes in the end of it with this tool here. Right? If you ever seen one before, thing for punching holes. It punches these little things out of your metal. They're good things. Had to do along the edge here as well. Along here. Had to do all them. The rest of them I just drilled them and used a step drill and drill them out. Didn't want a 1/8 bit first. So now I'm going to put that in place for the final time, I think. You guys have been giving me a hard time about not painting, putting any type of rust protection or anything down in the doohickey valleys and stuff like that. I went ahead now and I done this just for you guys. Painted everything up, lots of paint on it, all done inside the rockers. There it is in for the final time. Not to come out no more. You can see how nice the panels fit together there through the holes. And where I trimmed them, right here, you can barely see it there. You can see where I cut it off, right along the section here that can be brought down, and over here as well. I cut it to fit. And up here in this corner, I cut it to fit. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go along, I'm going to push this in and tack weld this on all the way along, so it's a nice snug fit, because it's not fitting exactly perfect in places. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap there, right? So when I get all that done, I'll start going around at the end with the zip blade, cut it, re-weld it, and then weld it in solid. Okay, I got it all tack welded in place. So it's all nice and tight. Up in these sections here, I went and lined them all up and solid welded them. And there as well, so I know where both ends are to. It's all flush in there, and then go up along there, and I welded the end as well. So now, all I gotta do is start taking the zip blade now, start cutting through that, and through there, and through down there, and around the back, and start welding it all up. There it is, all welded up. All the spot welds are done. Up there, I still got to put that little piece up there with this pointer. All along here has all been solid welded. Now, if you noticed before my other videos, like I'd spot every inch and then go back next to it, spot again. But where this is a heavy structural unit with the floors and there's lots of shapes there, I went and welded every inch and then skipped an inch, welded an inch, skipped an inch like that, and went right around it that way after I had a spot welded in place. So it's okay, like in a place like this here, to run a bead. You're not too concerned about too much warpage in here. And it's a lot of strength because you got this bend here and you got this roll here, so it's pretty strong through there. Right? Now I gotta go take the grinder to it now and clean it all up. Just grind it off with I think it's a 24-inch flat wheel from Power Fist, which is Princess Aloe, which is Harbor Freight. There you have it, one completed floor pan. If you really wanted to get fuss, go up here and you can probably go back and re-weld these again and grind them so they're nice and flush, but this is a floor pan, and I say it'll be all filled and everything, so I didn't want to weaken it too much either by grinding it too much. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this one. Hopefully the tips were good, and until next time.